Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to all of the series that I would like to finish in 2022. So, as some of you might know, I put out sometime last year that I had kind of Frankensteined myself a Google Sheets book reading tracker type thing from a bunch of other creators' reading trackers, and one of those was Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin's series tracker. I did kind of just take the general concept for what he did, but I added a lot of things to make it my own. It's like color coded automatically now and like a whole bunch of other stuff. It calculates a lot of stats for you automatically. If you're interested in looking at any of the stuff that I did, I will link it down below. But it has brought to my attention that I am a serial series starter and not a serial series finisher. I have this problem where I am kind of like a kid with a shiny new toy, and if there is a series that interests me, I will start it and then I will literally like never finish it. This has happened a lot. There's many series that I am not up to date in, even though I have started them, and that includes some of my favorite series that are out there. For the most part, my absolute favorite series in the entire world I am caught up to, and I do tend to stay on top of those more, but let me just put it this way. I took a good long look at all of the series that I have started by going through every single book that I have put into Goodreads. There's quite a few books that I have put into Goodreads over the last 10 years that I have been a part of that platform, and went through every single series that it looked like that I had started, and I added all of the ones that I could remember that I had started that wasn't on Goodreads, and it's telling me that I am currently in the middle of 63 series. Now, this is including ones that since my series tracker has started that I have finished, and those are just marked as up to date, but out of those 63 series that I have been in the middle of or am in the middle of, I've only been up to date on 25% of them. It's not great. It's not a great statistic. It's not something that I'm proud of. But today I'm here to talk to you about my 5 priority series that I would like to finish in 2022. A large part of this is because I set myself some reading goals this year, and one of them is to finish some of those series that I have started. So let's just jump right into it. Now, this list is going to include some that I am only one book away from. I'm not really sure if that makes it better or worse. It makes it better for my channel goals because theoretically it's easier to finish those series, but it makes it worse for me as a person because I am literally one book away from having been up to date on these series, some of which are finished. Like some of which I am literally one book away from completing the series. There will be no more books released in it, and I still have not read them. And it's sad, but that's just, I guess, who I am as a person at this point. So, the first one that I wanted to talk about is the Seven Kennings series by Kevin Hearn. Now, the Seven Kennings, or A Plague of Giants, which is the first one, is his first epic fantasy that he has written. Kevin Hearn, if you guys are unaware, is one of my favorite authors of all time. I talk about the Iron Druid Chronicles on my channel a lot. And I am fully caught up on the Iron Druid Chronicles. They are finished at this point, and he has moved on to a spin-off series called Ink and Sigil, which is also very great. The next book that he's releasing is book 3 in the Seven Kennings. This is interesting in that it is one of the first adult epic fantasies that I've read that actually does take place over, I want to say 12 POVs. And it's all kind of from the perspective of a bard telling a story to people about when this land was invaded by giants. And the magic system is really cool. The storytelling is really cool. Kevin Hearn's writing is super accessible and it's so easy to follow, but it still manages to be beautiful at the same time. And The Plague of Giants was great. I took way too long to read this. Let me just first of all say that. A Blight of Black Wings is the second book in this series, but when I finally got around to reading it, I absolutely loved it. I think I ended up giving it, if not a high 4-star, then a full 5 stars, because while I'm generally not somebody who enjoys bouncing around from POV to POV, which was pretty well exemplified in how long it took me to get into The Faithful and the Fallen, with how many POVs that has, this is considerably shorter, one. But I don't know, there were very few points of view that I did not enjoy being in, and I think that that helped considerably. If you have not read Plague of Giants, I do highly recommend it. It's Kevin Hearn. His writing it's easy fantasy to jump into for the most part. The POV thing, it might be a hit or miss for a lot of you, but the story that he crafted of being told about when this land was invaded by the giants and how everybody is dealing with the repercussions of this war as it's going on, it's great. And I really, really enjoyed this first book, which makes it so much more ridiculous that I have not moved on to The Blight of Black Wings, which is book 2. I was there at his book signing at the release for A Blight of Black Wings. In fact, he signed every single Kevin Hearn book that I brought with me. And for somebody who's my favorite author, you'd think that I would have already read A Blight of Black Wings, but I haven't. And I'm pretty sure the third book, and I don't remember what the name of it is, but I know that it has the word Kraken in the title, is coming out later this year. Or at least he says that it's going to be. He's been working on it a lot. I need to read that second book before the third one comes out, so we need to move A Blight of Black Wings up on the priority list. The next book that's pretty high on my priority list is the third book in the Shattered Realm series by Cinda Williams-Chima. It's not Flamecaster, which is the first one, but it is Stormcaster, which is the third one. I did put it on a recent TBR, but it might get bumped off of that TBR just because a lot of things have been happening, and I've been reading a lot of other things that just might move it off of that priority list. But that's the problem. That's what keeps happening, is it keeps getting bumped off of the priority list. If you don't know, Cinda Williams-Chima, she has written a bunch of YA fantasies, both urban and high fantasy, I guess you could say. So she does have the Warrior Chronicles, or something. It's something along those lines. She has the Seven Realms series, which I adore, and if you've been on my channel for any length of time, you have heard me talk about the Seven Realms series. Shattered Realms is the spin-off continuation of the Seven Realms series, and it has been great. If you have read it, you know why I was hesitant to start it, but I finally did, and I enjoyed the first 2 books a lot. So I don't know why I've been holding off on reading this third book, Stormcaster, but I literally only have 2 books left in order to finish this, which makes it so much more sad that I have not yet. The next series that I wanted to talk about was Cursebreakers by Bridget Kemmerer. I would hold up A Curse So Dark and Lonely, but I don't have it right now as I have loaned out my copy to somebody. But I loved A Curse So Dark and Lonely when I first read it a couple of years ago. I'm pretty sure I read the majority of it in one sitting, and I didn't like A Heart So Fierce and Broken quite as much, but I did still enjoy it. I have A Vow So Bold and Deadly. I have no reason to have not moved on. That is the theme of this video. But yeah, I do want to finish A Vow So Bold and Deadly this year. I liked it a lot. I have heard lukewarm things about it, though. I don't know if that's what's kind of holding me back from finally finishing with this series. But yeah, I mean, it's on the list. 2022, it's the year. The next series that I would like to finish is The Ember and the Ashes by Saba Tahir. I don't know that this actually has a series name. I'm not 100% sure. But I have finally read book 3. I think last year is when I listened to the audiobook for book 3, which is not A Torch Against the Night. Maybe it's A Torch Against the Night? No, it's Reaper at the Gates. I finally read Reaper at the Gates last year, and I did enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it as much as I did the first 2 books. I have A Sky Beyond the Storm, and I would love to finally get to A Sky Beyond the Storm. I loved Ember and the Ashes when I read it. This was a very interesting kind of like Roman-inspired fantasy, and it had a lot of dark stuff going on that I wasn't expecting from a YA fantasy at the time. I didn't love the next 2 books quite as much, and I don't really have a reason for that, but I've heard really good things about A Sky Beyond the Storm, and it does make me want to finally finish this series. I do only have that 1 book left, so hopefully that will actually happen this year. The last series that I wanted to talk about was The Queens of Renthia by Sarah Beth Durst. I read the first 2 books in The Queens of Renthia last year. Jessie from The Bookish Mom, she had talked about Sarah Beth Durst in these books on her channel a lot, and it got me hooked. I was really interested, and I finally went and I downloaded the audiobook. I loved Queen of Blood so much. I listened to that book fairly quickly, and I do tend to stretch out my audiobook listening, so the fact that I finished it in just a couple of days is quite the feat. And then as soon as I finished Queen of Blood, I immediately downloaded the second book, The Reluctant Queen, and then I stopped. I think that it's because only the first two books in audiobook format are available on Scribd. I don't know where to get the third one quite yet. I don't have any physical copies of them, which is why I'm not holding them up. But I loved those first two books so insanely much, so the fact that I haven't picked up the third one, like via my library or whatever, just makes it a little bit sad. I do want to finish that. I do want to finish that this year, and I would love to see what else I like by Sarah Beth Durst. Jesse raves about her all the time. I'm pretty sure that Sarah Beth Durst is one of Jesse's favorite authors, so I'm really excited to see what else I'll enjoy by her. So there you have it. Those are 5 series that I plan to prioritize in 2022. Hopefully I can complete all of them and finish up that reading goal that I set for myself. It is only March. I do have the whole year ahead of me, but the fact that it is March and instead I've been starting series instead of finishing them does not really bode well for this goal. We'll have to see how it goes. I'm glad I didn't set for myself a goal to bring down the total number of series that I was reading, because then we would have absolutely failed. That would not be the case at all. But completing 5 series on my list is much more doable. Now, don't forget to go down to my description box and check out that reading tracker if it is at all something that you're interested in. While you're down there, don't forget to check out my rep code for Hello Lovely box, which will get you 15% off of your order. And underneath that are my links to my Goodreads, my Twitter, and my Instagram in case you guys wanted to follow me on any of those. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content from me. But that's it for me today, guys, so I'll talk to you in my next one. Bye!